While on night shift, the emergency room called me for a consultation. A car fire had caused severe burns to 2 people. When I arrived, I was stunned. The burn victims were none other than my wife, Catherine, and her male assistant, Michael. Crucially, their lower bodies were fused together like conjoined twins, inseparable, and they were piled on the hospital bed in a bizarre posture. Familiar colleagues cast glances at me, some sympathetic, some gossipy. Maintaining a calm expression, I took the medical chart and said, since they can't be separated, let's just cut them apart. Back home, Patricia, my mother-in-law, blamed Catherine's affair on me, saying it was because I was useless that Catherine would do such a thing. The moment the words left my mouth, the operating room fell into a deathly silence. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Catherine and me. Catherine, whose temper had been volatile, stopped abruptly when she heard my voice. She spun her head violently to look at me, dressed in a white coat and wearing a mask. Robert, she stammered. What are you doing here? A belated fear dawned on Catherine. 2 days ago, she'd told me she was going on a business trip for a few days, saying there was urgent company business to handle. She'd left on the night of my birthday, not even waiting for me to blow out the candles. What kind of urgent business could make her, a woman who never neglected me, break her own strict rule for the first time and just leave? Only tonight did I learn that she, usually known for her aloof and innocent demeanor, was shockingly promiscuous and had a chaotic private life when dealing with other men. No wonder she always refused point-blank whenever I suggested having children, claiming she was worn out from work and lacked the energy. I'd even felt sorry for her because of it. The real reason for everything was that her affair was exhausting her. At that moment, the lower halves of their bodies were exposed, uncovered by clothing, a shameful sight for everyone to see. It was like an invisible slap across Catherine's face, and mine too. I felt all the blood rush to my head. The hand holding the scalpel trembled uncontrollably. Insulting resentment and fury surged through my chest, making it painful to breathe. In here, there is no your husband. Please call me Dr. Gu. Catherine's legs still felt the pain of the burns, and any agitation injured Michael, who was stuck close to her. Catherine, don't move around. Every time you move, I'm in so much pain. Now he wasn't even calling her Ms. Jiang, just her first name. It sounded so familiar. Robert, I'm sorry, she cried. I just had a moment of weakness and did something foolish. She glanced at the scalpel in my hand and swallowed hard. She knew I was known for my integrity and zero tolerance for dishonesty/betrayal. Ignoring the pain, she pleaded, Robert, please calm down. It's all my fault, every bit of it. It has nothing to do with Michael. I know with your medical skills, you must have a way to separate Michael and me. No, there's only one way, and that's to cut. No, there must be another way, Catherine begged, her voice thick with tears. As a professional doctor, I wasn't lying or acting out of spite, I was simply stating the truth. But Catherine's face was paler than my white coat. No, I want a different doctor. My husband is a bit biased right now, it will affect his judgment. Just then, an anxious, loud voice echoed from outside the operating room. It was Catherine's mother, Patricia. When Dr. Adams walked in, he told me to put down the scalpel and go get some air, saying he would take over. I took a deep breath, trying to remain as calm as possible. As soon as I stepped out, Patricia slapped me across the face. Robert, this is all your fault, she shrieked. If you weren't so useless, if you could control your own woman, why would she rather go have an affair with someone else than come home to you? If not for this, C.A. Therein wouldn't have faced this disgrace and almost lost her life. Too, my face burned from the slap, but I didn't flinch, letting her hit and scold me. It was because her family had shown me kindness. When my family was struggling, Arthur, her father, had supported us during hard times. Because of that kindness, I remembered it to this day, enduring Patricia's occasional scolding. Only this time, I didn't hold back. Remember 2 years ago, when Arthur was having an affair outside? You found out and caused a scene with everyone, saying he was a monster and calling the mistress disgraceful. So how is it that when your daughter is the one cheating, it's my fault? Patricia was choked by my words, her aged face flushing with anger. How dare you talk back? You're defying me, aren't you? She shrieked. What are you doing out here? Go back in and save my daughter. If any harm comes to her, I will never forgive you. Suddenly, cries of pain from the man and woman echoed from the operating room. If they were forcibly separated, it would surely be excruciating. But there was another method that could work. As I turned to go back in, I heard, "Be careful, are you even doctors?" I walked back in, enduring the judging eyes watching me, and picked up the scalpel again. "We don't have to cut him. How about I cut from your private parts instead?" I wanted to see if Catherine would agree for Michael's sake. Deep down, I held on to a sliver of hope for her. But then, without a second thought, she blurted out, "To prevent you from cutting Michael down there, I'm willing to have mine cut. But when you do it, please be extremely careful, watch what you're doing, and make sure you don't cut Michael." At that moment, all my remaining hope for her was instantly incinerated. As the surgery progressed, I felt like a numb statue. My cold silence and her cries filled the entire operating room. "Robert, are you doing this on purpose? It hurts so much." As the pain became unbearable, Catherine started complaining about me. Michael quickly held her close, ignoring everyone's stares, whispering sweet nothings to comfort her. "See, you know why I sought him out? It's because you're so dull and boring. You're the best, Michael." Catherine leaned her head on Michael's shoulder, and my heart felt like it was being gnawed by ants. Who said it didn't hurt? Catherine had completely shamed me. Yet she showed no remorse, nor did she take responsibility for her actions. How wild must her behavior have been to end up stuck like this, and still have the audacity to blame me for not saving her? I gritted my teeth, suppressing anger, and completed the final suturing. I had performed surgeries like this for others before, and back then, I'd felt indignant for the woman's husband. I remembered colleagues telling me, "Rob, your wife is the best. So loyal, and she loves you so much." But now, reality had slapped me hard, making my ears ring. After the surgery, I removed my sterile gloves and went to the washroom, washing my hands repeatedly under the faucet. A colleague walked over, sighing, and offered comfort. "Rob, are you okay?" Only then did I realize my pale hands were red from how hard I'd scrubbed them. "I'm fine, don't worry," I said, though inside, it felt like my heart was being squeezed, aching terribly. I didn't even know when the tears started falling. I wiped them away, not wanting anyone to see my disarray. As I turned to leave, Catherine, despite her injuries, grabbed me forcefully and launched into a furious tirade. "Are you happy now? If you weren't so heartless and refused to save me, I wouldn't be in such pain, and Michael's downstairs would be fine." Before I could react, Patricia's face contorted with rage, and she delivered a second slap across my face. "If Arthur hadn't insisted on Catherine marrying you back then, I would never have allowed you, you jinx, to live under our roof." With that, she shoved me hard, sending me tumbling to the floor. Catherine is already 1 month pregnant. She started having pain just now and there was bleeding. The baby won't make it. I looked at the weak, bloodless Catherine, blood stained her pants. My heart felt desolate again. The baby was a month old, but we hadn't been intimate in 6 months. The child wasn't mine, it could only be that wild man's. "Aren't you supposed to be a master surgeon? If you are, why couldn't you save the baby? It just proves you did it on purpose." Catherine showed no sign of guilt, only disappointment. "You've disappointed me so much. I know I wronged you, but I apologized, didn't I? Do you have to get revenge?" Facing their accusations, I suddenly started to laugh. But as I laughed, I felt utterly pathetic. My wife cheated on me, I was forced to perform their separation surgery, and now, knowing she was pregnant with another man's child, they were blaming everything on me. I stood up and slapped Catherine across the face. "How did you lose the baby? It was because you were pushing too hard, completely stuck and unable to separate, which caused a chain reaction. And now you're twisting the facts and blaming me. How dare you hit my daughter?" Patricia's eyes blazed with fury. "Yes, I'm not only hitting her, I'm divorcing her." Catherine looked at me, her lips pursed, her expression complex with disbelief. In her memory, I had never shown an unstable side, I had always been mild-mannered. I thought I might cry again, but I didn't. Perhaps it was because I had given up hope on Catherine. Only Patricia applauded. "Good. I've wanted you two to divorce for a long time." "Mom, don't say that. I would never divorce Robert," Catherine pleaded. "Robert, apologize to Mom quickly, don't make a fuss." I composed my turbulent emotions and swallowed the bitterness. I did nothing wrong. I don't need to apologize to either of you, and I'm not making a fuss. Catherine's face began to turn ugly. Michael's baby was lost because of your cruelty. He didn't blame you at all, and even told me to apologize to you properly. He'll apologize to you in person when he recovers. That young man is more sensible than you are. Even during such a dangerous time, he didn't cry or scream in pain. His heart truly only has me in it. As she said these words casually, she didn't consider the harm they inflicted on me. Her words cut deep, like a knife twisting in the wound. Looking at the face I had loved for so many years, I felt it was completely unfamiliar for the first time. Stripped of her now hypocritical facade, she became aggressive, just like her mother. So, what you're saying is, you cheated and got pregnant with his child, and not only should I not be angry, I should generously forgive everything you've done? I demanded, my voice raw with pain. You're so shameless, do you think that's fair to me? A flicker of guilt crossed Catherine's face, and her voice softened. Robert, I know you're hurting too. But what's done is done. We just have to face it and accept it. When she finished speaking, I closed my eyes, holding firm to my inner conviction. This divorce had to happen. As I turned to leave, Catherine called after me, Robert, come back. I stayed outside for a long time, sitting through the night. As dawn broke, I took out my wedding ring and threw it away, bidding farewell to everything in the past. For the next few days, I didn't go home. Instead, I chose to stay at the hospital. Catherine and Michael were discharged, and despite me, she took Michael home to recover, pampering him. Catherine thought this would make me regretful and rush back home to her. But she was wrong. A week passed, and I was nowhere to be seen. Just as she couldn't hold back any longer, I returned with the divorce papers. There were still some of my things left at Catherine's house. I would resolve everything this time. As I walked in, I saw the family of three, laughing and chatting as they ate at the dining table. Catherine froze for a moment when she saw me, then spoke with a hint of surprise and triumph. See, you came back to me after all. I knew you were tough on the outside but soft on the inside, that you couldn't bear to leave me. For inch Rob's back, come in and sit down, Michael said, acting like the man of the house and directly challenging me. His blatant behavior was only possible because Patricia approved of him, and more importantly, because of Catherine's clear favoritism towards him. Michael has such good manners, unlike some people, Patricia said, giving me a cold look while lavishing praise on Michael. Ha, they dared talk about manners? If they had any, they'd realize how utterly shameless and morally corrupt their current actions were. Catherine walked over and reached out to take my hand, but I pulled away. I hope I'm not interrupting your little family dinner, I said coldly. I'm not here today because I still love you. I'm here for this. I placed the divorce papers in Catherine's surprised hand. Sign them. I'm going to pack my things now. Please move. No, Robert, you're serious? What else? The scandal of my wife cheating with a kept man, getting stuck together, it's practically public knowledge. I thought you might show some remorse, but no. You just brought him home to take care of him. You have no shame, but I still have some dignity. I walked past her and went upstairs. The moment I entered the room, I was instantly and severely stung by the sight before me. My room was a mess. My clothes and watch had been used. There were scattered condoms on the bed sheets, and various smells in the air. What angered me even more was the family heirloom bracelet my mother had given me before she died. It was broken in half, lying on the floor, looking as if someone had stepped on it. In that moment, rage burned away my reason. I couldn't stay calm. Catherine and Michael were staying in our room. Rob, Michael said, deliberately stepping on the bracelet with Molly. Sias intent, just as I was about to pick up the shattered jade. Oh, sorry, I didn't see it. He then covered his mouth, pretending he hadn't noticed before stepping on it. I picked up the bracelet and demanded, who gave you permission to stay in my room? Did you break this? Facing my questions, he acted as if it was perfectly natural. He deliberately exposed the hickey on his neck to me. So what if I did? Are you going to hit me? Your room? That's hilarious. Of course I'm staying in my future room. You're just clinging on and refusing to leave. Do you know what Catherine said when she begged me to make love to her? He sneered. She said you were so boring. Ha ha, only with me does she feel like a real woman. Faced with his mockery, I couldn't hold back. I punched him in the face. You can have the woman, she's garbage as far as I'm concerned. But you absolutely shouldn't have broken my jade bracelet. Michael held his face, red from the punch, and roared at me, "You hit me?" "Yes, I hit you." As Michael prepared to retaliate, he suddenly thought of something. He slapped his own face several times forcefully, the sound echoing loudly enough for people downstairs to hear. I realized something was wrong. "What are you doing?" "Why, I'm setting you up, of course, to force Catherine to divorce you." He smiled eerily, a look of certainty on his face. "Ah, help! He's going to kill me," he cried out. "Rob, I know I was wrong. Please don't hit me, I'll leave right now," he yelled towards the stairs. None of this was Catherine's fault, please don't hate her. The next second, Catherine rushed in and, without bothering to figure out what happened, slapped me across the face. "Whatever's going on, take it out on me. Why are you hitting him?" Her strength was immense. I lost my balance and hit my head on the wall, blood trickled out. Catherine didn't even look at me, only concerned with comforting Michael, who was smirking in her arms. "I didn't hit him. He staged it himself. Enough. My eyes aren't blind." The coldness in Catherine's eyes finally disheartened me completely. Patricia entered then, holding the divorce papers. Catherine snatched them, pulled out a pen, signed her name without hesitation, and threw them at my face. "Didn't you say you wanted a divorce? Fine, I'll give it to you," she spat. "But are you brave enough to sign? If you really wanted to leave, you would have left already, not come back." What a joke. For some reason, I wasn't sad. Instead, I felt a sense of relief. I put the divorce papers away safely, not bothering to argue with them anymore, as it was pointless. Catherine wasn't just blinded by delusion, her heart was blind too. But I wasn't someone who wouldn't fight back if bullied. Before leaving, I picked up my phone, did a few taps, and sent Catherine a surveillance video. She herself had installed the surveillance camera a year ago, angled towards the dressing table. After sending it, I realized there was truly nothing left in this house worth taking. Only the broken jade bracelet, clutched in my hand, as I left this suffocating place without looking back. When Catherine received the video, her face darkened as she opened it, thinking it was an apology from me. But what she saw wasn't that at all. Her expression shifted from calm to furious. Finally, she threw the phone at Michael's face. "Explain this," she shrieked. "It was clearly a scene you staged yourself to force Robert to leave me." Michael's face still held a look of grievance, and his eyes were teary. He picked up the phone, confused. "What's wrong, Catherine? Why are you so angry with me?" At the same time, he glanced at the video on the phone. In an instant, his mind went blank, and he dropped the phone in shock. "I didn't." Catherine looked at his shifty eyes and sneered. "You didn't? Do you think I'm an idiot?" she demanded. "There's ironclad evidence. Are you still going to keep lying?" Michael stopped pretending and spoke openly. "All right, it's true. Patricia asked me to do it." "My mom?" Catherine was stunned. All right, don't be angry," Michael said, trying to smooth things over. "Anyway, you both signed the papers, and Robert is gone. From now on, I'll take care of." His words were cut off as Catherine grabbed him by the neck. "I told you long ago that I was just playing around with you. Don't you dare think you can replace Robert." The rage and viciousness on Catherine's face terrified Michael. Just as he was about to suffocate, Patricia walked in. "Ah, Catherine, let go quickly," she cried. "You're choking him to death." "Death? I won't let him off that easily," Catherine said, casting a similarly vicious glare at her mother. "Why are you looking at me like that? Is he worth it, just a good-for-nothing?" Patricia retorted. "He is," Catherine said, releasing Michael. "Because I love him." She turned to do something, hoping it wasn't too late. She was afraid I had signed the divorce papers too, which would mean our marriage was truly over. After all, Catherine knew how I had left the house. As soon as Catherine left, Michael wanted to chase after her, but Patricia held him back. "Mom, let go. I need to go find Catherine. I'm afraid." As Michael spoke, he looked back at Patricia. When he saw the sinister look on her face, his voice trailed off. "Who's your mother? Don't call me that." Patricia snapped. Neither you nor Robert is worthy of my daughter. Besides, you're just a petty assistant. I only treated you well before as part of a scheme to drive Robert away. Now that he's finally gone, there's no reason to keep you around." "What?" Michael's face was pale as paper. He had never imagined he would become the second Robert, a pawn all along, used by Patricia. "No, I'm not leaving. I'm waiting for Catherine to come back." Slap. Patricia slapped him. "You have no right," she declared. "Someone, get him out of here. Keep him out from now on." Michael glared hatefully at Patricia, struggling against the people who were dragging him out. Finally, he was thrown out the door. Meanwhile, Catherine ran several red lights, driving all the way to the hospital where I worked. She got out of the car and ran desperately. Because she was running so fast, she tripped and fell several times. But she still couldn't find me. Before I went back to Catherine's house, I had requested a month of annual leave from the hospital. I hadn't taken a vacation in years, so I decided to use this unhappy time to travel. Catherine kept waiting for me to appear, but only received the divorce papers from my colleague. Her eyes widened in disbelief when she saw my signature, Robert, on the papers. Robert actually dared to sign it? He wasn't just throwing a tantrum? How could this be? He loved me so much. Catherine's mind was in turmoil. She couldn't stand still, couldn't sit down. She gripped the divorce papers tightly in her hand, crumpling them. Rob said before he left that he also sent the agreement to her lawyer. "Tearing this up won't do any good," the colleague said, preparing to leave, but kindly offering the reminder. He hated cheaters. Catherine quickly stopped him. "Wait, do you know where Robert went?" "I don't know, but he said he'd come back after the month-long cooling-off period." This made Catherine panic. If Robert didn't appear for a month, her marriage could not be saved. "No, I have to find him and bring him back, no matter the cost." Catherine called a friend. "Help me track Robert's movements. Check road, rail, sea, or air travel, leave no stone unturned. I must find out where he went." After giving instructions, Catherine returned home. When she saw that I hadn't taken anything from the room except for a few items that were very important to me, she felt dejected. The clothes, the watch, those were all gifts from her. The fact that I didn't take them meant I really didn't want them, including her. 7 At that moment, I was with our group heading to the remote Colorado Rockies. Thankfully, I didn't experience altitude sickness. I'd heard long ago that this place was the place closest to the sky. Looking up, it felt like I could touch a cloud just by reaching out. They were truly low. I couldn't bear to move. Counting the days, it wouldn't be long before the cooling-off period was over and I could officially get the divorce certificate. Watching a couple taking photos in the distance reminded me of the memories of first meeting Catherine. I was young back then. My grandfather and Arthur had served together in the military and occasionally kept in touch. The adults always had endless topics of conversation, but as teenagers, we were bored and idle. One day, I wandered into Catherine's private study by chance. At first, she was resistant to me and wouldn't let me get close. I was a man of few words myself back then. Later, our two families went hiking, and Catherine was bitten by a snake. Having some medical knowledge, I instinctively helped her suck the venom out without a second thought. It was from that moment that Catherine started to accept me. After that, she always wanted to be around me. The past played like a movie, revisited unintentionally. Only the memories remained, and that person was no longer the woman I loved. After spending a few days exploring the Colorado Rockies, I followed the group to another location, to Silver Peak for skiing. I had once asked Catherine to come see the snow with me. As someone from warmer states, I loved to see snow. But she was always too busy, so busy I felt awkward asking again. I bent down and scooped up some snow in my hand, preparing to build a snowman just for fun, when I was suddenly called out by a voice. It was Sarah, a former classmate from college. She was gentle and beautiful. After college graduation, she had immigrated abroad with her parents, and I hadn't seen her since. "Robert? It really is you. Long time no see, Sarah." We exchange. A smile, feeling as if there were 1,000 words to be exchanged. We chose a quiet spot, and just as we sat down, snow began to fall outside the pavilion. We people from warmer states and people from snowy regions are truly complementary. They love the ocean from our side, while we love the falling snow. The moment the words left my mouth, I didn't expect to see a figure I strongly disliked in the distance. Catherine had actually found me. Robert, I finally found you, she cried. You've driven me crazy during the time you've been gone. Catherine approached from a distance, and as she got closer, I saw that she seemed much thinner, with dark circles under her eyes. But her hands were restless. As soon as she got close, she wanted to hug me. I stepped back, avoiding her hands, and unexpectedly bumped into Sarah. Catherine then noticed the woman behind me and her face instantly darkened. Who is she? She demanded. Have you been with her the entire time you were gone? Catherine had always been known for her aloof and steady demeanor. I had never seen such a twisted, resentful, and out of control expression on her face before, not even when she treated me that way for Michael. I regained my balance and apologized to Sarah. I hadn't expected my situation with Catherine to drag an innocent person into it. What are you talking about? I growled, furious. Do you think everyone is like you, juggling multiple partners? Catherine froze for a moment, stunned by my angry roar, struck where it hurt. There are only a few days left until we can officially get the divorce certificate. Isn't that what you wanted most? I challenged. Why aren't you with your Michael? What are you doing here? Catherine rushed to explain. That's not true. Before, I was just testing if you still cared about me, thinking you'd never go through with the divorce, which is why I treated you so recklessly, she said, her voice softening. Robert, I know I was wrong. Michael has been kicked out, and the room has been cleaned. Will you come home with me now? Let's not get divorced. As Catherine spoke, she reached out to take my hand again, but I forcefully pulled away. It was as if she was something dirty, untouchable. Do you know why I was avoiding you? I asked her. I was afraid you'd suddenly change your mind and start clinging to me. But I'm not afraid of your clinging anymore. I stated firmly. Because no matter what you do, after this month, I am getting that divorce certificate. Once a woman cheats, the fault isn't with the mistress, it's with her own restless heart. If Michael leaves, there will be a second and a third Michael. Catherine stood there, her face pale with panic, unsure what to do to make me change my mind. But I didn't waste any more words on her and turned to go back to my lodging. Sarah, understanding my situation, silently stayed with me in my silence. She found a flute and played a melody. I loved this tune, it was Eternal Heart. In college, we had played it together in music class. I played the harp, Sarah played the flute, and the music flowed together perfectly. Thank you, Sarah. She stopped playing the flute and looked at me. Do you feel better? Much better. That's good. You know, even after so many years, I still know you well, she smiled gently. Whenever you're quiet, you're definitely troubled by something, she added. You've weathered major storms, I hope you don't capsize in a small ditch. Her words resonated with me, and I suddenly felt a sense of relief. Before I could say anything, Catherine, who had been hiding, approached again. You say there's nothing between you, yet she knows your personality, she snapped, her voice sharp. Tell me honestly, is it because of her that you're so determined to divorce me? Her annoying words reached my ears, and my face darkened as I glared at the seething Catherine. Since all this mess happened between us, she had never once looked for the reason within her self. She was the one who cheated, yet she was also the one being aggressive. If you think so, then fine, it is, I said, exhausted. If saying this could make her give up hope, I didn't mind. But quiet under the eaves was instantly devoid of sound. Catherine stood dumbfounded, helpless in the face of my resolve. Just then, Michael's voice drifted over. Catherine, see? You didn't do anything wrong towards him. While we were together, he must have been with other wild women too, he said, walking out. The one who truly loves you has always been me. As Michael walked out, I stepped forward and, without hesitation, slapped him hard across the face. If you dare to slander me again, I'll send the compromising photos of you two stuck together to your parents for their viewing pleasure. Let's see how your parents raised you to be such a morally bankrupt kept man. I threatened. If you're not afraid to die, go ahead and try me. Michael covered his face, red from the slap, trembling with anger. Yet he dared not speak, only looking at Catherine, hoping she would speak up for him. But even Catherine's face was flushed with embarrassment and anger. Sarah, pretending not to know, asked, "What in the world? Stuck together?" I didn't hide anything and told them directly. They were having an affair and got stuck together. I was the one who performed the surgery to separate them. Sarah burst into laughter, and I suddenly thought she had a dark sense of humor. "Enough! Stop talking about it," Catherine cried out. "Yes, I made a mistake, but I've already apologized to you. Can't you stop being so aggressive?" "Me, aggressive? That was a joke. You're the one who came chasing after me, clinging on. I'm not forcing you to do anything." Looking at Catherine's face, the more I looked, the more disgusted I felt. I just walked away. I felt like I needed to wash my eyes after seeing her for another second. Seeing me about to leave, Catherine suddenly grabbed Sarah. "He's still my husband. Have some decency and don't follow him." As she spoke, she raised her fist to hit Sarah, but I quickly pulled Sarah behind me. "Catherine, I remember we both signed the divorce papers. Who are you calling your husband?" I said, glaring at her. "Go look at yourself and see what you've become." Catherine's face alternated between black and white, her hands clenched tightly, trembling with anger. Suddenly, overcome with fury, she coughed up a mouthful of blood. Seeing this, Michael panicked and tried to support her, but she pushed him away. "Stop bothering me! Get away!" I knew what she was thinking. She wanted to make me feel soft-hearted and come over to help her. But I said casually, "It's just a little blood. You're not going to die." It was only then that Catherine understood that when I said I didn't want her, I truly meant it. She could only watch helplessly as I walked away. As soon as I left, she vented all her anger on Michael. "It's all your fault. Why did you have to come looking for me?" she screamed. "If you hadn't shown up, maybe Robert would have forgiven me," she raged. "You deserve to die." Catherine lunged at him, choking him by the neck. In her frenzy, she looked terrifying. Michael's face turned purple as she choked him. He kicked her legs, and she cried out in pain, releasing him. Then the two continued to struggle, eventually falling down the stairs. Catherine's leg was severely injured. When I heard about it, my heart remained unaffected. She was taken to the hospital to treat her injuries and called me, hoping I would visit her. I refused immediately. If I was letting go, I wouldn't drag things out. After my trip, I returned to work at the hospital. Because Catherine's leg was injured, processing the divorce was delayed. She used this as an excuse, constantly claiming she couldn't walk, hoping to postpone things indefinitely. I threw her recovery scan at her face. "Stop pretending. You've been able to walk for a while now," I told her. "Be at the county clerk's office on time tomorrow." Catherine looked devastated, gripping my hand, her eyes rapidly turning red, pleading with me. "Robert, can we really not go back?" she begged. "If you give me one more chance, I swear I will never cheat again. Otherwise, may I be struck by lightning and die a terrible death." I lifted my hand and peeled Catherine's tightly clasped fingers away one by one. "Your vows are worthless," I said, my voice firm. "I won't say the same thing twice," I warned. "Be there early tomorrow." Catherine finally understood how strong my resolve to divorce her was. The next morning, she arrived late. But I didn't give her time to delay and led her straight into the county clerk's office. When the divorce decree was finalized, Catherine's face was pale as death as she lowered her eyelids. I was finally officially divorced from her. As I walked out the door, Sarah drove up and handed me a bunch of roses. "Congratulations on your new beginning," she said. "Thank you," I replied. Catherine rushed out and shouted after me, "Robert, will you marry her?" I didn't answer her question. Instead, I looked up at a flock of birds flying in the distance. "Catherine, I'm only 30 years old now," I said finally. "If I meet someone I like in the future, I will certainly get married." Catherine got her answer and smiled bitterly, tears welling up. After she went back, she had a huge fight with her mother, blaming her for constantly interfering in her marriage and making her feel suffocated. That night, she drank too much, drove drunk, and got into a car accident, lying dying on the road. At the same time, Michael, holding a grudge against Patricia, returned to the house. He got into a violent struggle with Patricia, and both suffered many stab wounds, ultimately dying from excessive blood loss. When I heard about their fates, I could only say that they got what they deserved. My mood wasn't disturbed by their affairs. From now on, I would take car. E of myself.
Here Mrs. Thompson would throw $1 million at me to make me leave her daughter. I had already planned it out in my head. I probably wouldn't have agreed to $1 million. After I saw Mrs. Thompson out, Victoria Thompson arrived shortly after. What did my mom say to you? She looked a little nervous. Nothing much. That's good. I was afraid you'd leave again like last time. I'm not leaving. I'm staying to be with you. While discussing the marriage arrangements, Victoria Thompson specifically brought my family from hometown. Except for the 2 brothers who were working, the rest all came. Seeing them, I felt like a stranger. After all, I was sent away at a young age, and there wasn't much family affection. Victoria Thompson also wanted my family to witness my wedding, and I was grateful to her for that. When my father and my mother came, I arranged a hotel for them, but they insisted on staying at the Song Mansion. Victoria Thompson complied with everything. Oh my, look, it just goes to show our Leo is capable. You'll be living in a big house like this from now on. They showed no shame about selling me back then. Instead, they were enjoying the benefits of the Song residence. It was as if selling me was for my own good, putting me in a place of fortune. Leo, we also came this time because we have something to discuss. Look, some of your brothers don't have very good jobs. Why don't you see about arranging something for them? After all, you'll be the head of the Song family/corporation in the future. Yes, Leo. Our house is also cramped. There's not enough space for the grandchildren at home. Your sisters who married poorly, still living at home. I heard you earned a lot. Help out with expenses, Leo? In my father's and my mother's eyes, there wasn't any sympathy for me, only full of calculation/selfish motives. You sold me into the Song residence back then. Have you lost your memory? How can you make so many demands of me? This is the Song residence. Do you think this is a marketplace? Demanding this and that. All these years, if they had even sent me a letter to ask how I was, I wouldn't be this angry. Hey, you can't talk like that, Leo. It was fate that you and Miss Song met, otherwise, how could we become related to establish ties with the Song family? You owe it to your father for paid the debt, otherwise, you wouldn't have gotten in, and you'd probably be like your brothers marrying someone ordinary/less successful. So I should be grateful to you? For selling me at such a young age. Victoria Thompson walked over and blocked me. All these years, I had actually longed for family affection, and she understood that about me. But my father and my mother weren't worth longing for at all. Uncle and Auntie, please stay here comfortably during this time. If you need anything, just tell the staff members. Okay, good. Thank you, daughter-in-law. They are your parents after all. Let bygones be bygones. Only by letting go of this issue can you live happily. I was unfortunate, sold off repeatedly at a young age. My heart felt bleak inside. But I was also fortunate that I met Victoria Thompson. Victoria healed my unhappy childhood. After marrying Victoria Thompson, I always patiently took care of her. I never let her do any strenuous tasks, nor did I ever say a harsh word to her. Several $100s. Not to mention driving a BMW car and carrying a bag worth $10,000 or $20,000. I got in the car first. Immediately after, I saw Brandon running out through the rearview mirror of the BMW car and hitting Hannah. You bitch. You caused my house to be seized. Where am I going to live in the future? Brandon was furious. Hannah had bought his high-end condo behind my back with our money. Naturally, I wouldn't let go of anything I could recover. It's just that all the money Hannah gave Brandon was lost by this kid in gambling. He owed millions of dollars in debt. I didn't expect to be able to recover it. Was this the life Hannah wanted? I was about to step on the gas and leave. Sophia suddenly appeared in front of me. She was still wearing the Chanel dress I had bought for her before, but it was dirty. She looked at me with pleading eyes. "Dad, can you take me home? I won't hate you anymore in the future. I don't have anything to wear, nothing to eat." I was wrong. Dad, you used to love me the most. I hate Mom. She's the one who ruined me. Dad, when I turn adult and have a birthday in the future, can you give me a car like this too? I got out of the car and squatted in front of Sophia. My heart was very calm. I can support you to study until you graduate from college. Besides that, I'll give you $2,000 a month for living expenses, not a penny less. Go find your mom. I'm already scared. If I do it again, I'll go crazy. Sophia pursed her lips, stubbornly looking at me, refusing to leave the front of the car. Her eyes were filled with confusion. I hate Mom. I hate Brandon. Dad is the best to me. Dad, please don't be angry. I'll listen to you from now on. I miss my big bed. I live outside, and I won't be able to sleep. Until now, Sophia's words still showed that she couldn't bear the previous material life. Even if she sincerely showed me a trace of emotion, maybe my firm heart would soften. I pulled Sophia away and stepped on the gas, and left. It wasn't that I was too heartless. Once bitten by a snake, 10 years afraid of the well rope. I had lost confidence in marriage and in everyone around me. Maybe I would live my life in the way I wanted in the future, but I would never get married or have children again. In the following days, Hannah would bring Sophia to wait for me at the office gate every day. The newly hired security guards strictly followed my orders and didn't let them step into the office. No matter how they begged or how pitiful they were, I didn't give them a penny again. 3 months later, Hannah disappeared with Sophia. The last time I saw her was in a business club. I was discussing business with a friend at the time. When the club hostess was called in, I saw Hannah at first glance. She no longer had the pampered and superior air she used to have. All that was left in her eyes was exhaustion. Our eyes met. Hannah lowered her head in fear. My friends all quieted down. They also recognized Hannah and looked at me with complicated expressions. I waved to Hannah and took out a few $1,000s from my briefcase and put it on the table. "Do you want it? But it's not free. If you come over and drink this bottle of whiskey, you can take it." Hannah didn't hesitate at all. She walked over and firmly grasped the few $1,000s and drank the bottle of whiskey in one breath. At this time, she probably understood that even a few $1,000s couldn't be obtained by sitting at home, applying face masks, eating diet salad, and asking for it. "I'm sorry." Hannah looked at me, vicissitudes of life. She looked several years older. "Are you still with that Brandon?" I asked casually. Hannah nodded. "He threatened me with videos and photos, asking me to work as a hostess in the club to earn money to pay off his debts." I laughed out loud. Didn't that grandson say he wanted to make money to support you? In this world, how could there be so many idiots? Hannah bit her lip hard. Tears were streaming down her face. Through her mentioning the things that had happened in the past few months, I learned that her parents' house had also been sold under Brandon's coercion and inducement. All the money was also taken by Brandon to pay off his debts. I took out a few $1,000s again in front of Hannah and put it on the table, asking those women who wanted it to dance for me. "Hannah, do you see that? I can make these women please me and curry favor with me with just a few $1,000s. That night, I scattered tens of thousands of dollars in the club. I was carefree. I didn't have to worry about coming home late, not having time to spend with my wife and daughter. I didn't have to worry about not earning money to support them. I also didn't have to worry about raising a family of wolves in sheep's clothing. 14 Ever since Hannah and Brandon had a falling out, Brandon would beat and scold Hannah and Sophia every night. Sometimes he wouldn't even give them food. According to Hannah, Brandon hadn't given up yet. He kept telling them to find a way to ask me for money. When I heard that Brandon had taken all the $2,000 of living expenses that I gave Sophia every month for himself, I finally got a little angry. The next night, I called a few friends from society and blocked Brandon on the road he had to take after work, using a burlap sack to cover his head and teach him a hard lesson. Under their rental house, Brandon was beaten until his head was bleeding. I had so many ways to make his life worse than death to deal with this kind of little scoundrel. In today's society, money can make the devil push the millstone, but there is no need to play too hard. This was the life Hannah chose. Only when they faced the bloody society would they know that the place they lived in the beginning was simply paradise. The more remorse they felt, the more my angry mood could be calmed down a little. A few days later, I received a strange call. Brandon's voice came from the phone. "Sean, I don't believe you have any feelings for Hannah and Sophia. I've been forced to a dead end. If you want them to live, give me $5 million in cash. At worst, I'll die with them." I asked Brandon with a sneer on the phone. "Didn't you say you loved Hannah and wanted to make money to support them?" Brandon laughed out loud. "Sean, do you think I'm as stupid as you? If it wasn't because I valued Hannah's generosity and willingness to spend money for me, only an idiot would like this kind of old woman in her 30s who's loose and has no charm at all. Oh, and the way she flatters me in front of me, you probably haven't seen it in the 10 years you've been married to her. It's pretty interesting." I endured the bursts of sadness in my heart. In fact, in my heart, I already believed what Brandon said. Hannah could do it. I hung up the phone and called the police without hesitation. The current Hannah was not as important as a meeting or a drink with friends. You have to finish the road you choose, crying and kneeling. Just like I chose in the beginning, freedom and romance are built on money. Without money, there is only an endless vegetable market, endless cheap cosmetics, and endless firewood, rice, oil, and salt. It was because I understood this truth that I desperately earned money after I married Hannah. They were in freedom and love, but they still rushed to the abyss. Brandon underestimated my determination. He thought I would be foolish enough to take $5 million to find him and then wait for him to spend it all, the second $5 million, the third $5 million. Once something started, it would cycle forever. Maybe Brandon didn't expect that he would eventually not wait for the $5 million I brought, but the fully armed police. At this moment, Hannah also saw my decision. If she still had a little wisdom, she should understand that I would never look back. 15 That and I. GHT, Brandon surrendered voluntarily as soon as he saw the police. I had my assistant go to the scene and witness the whole process. Still, that sentence, Brandon was just a little scoundrel. He might have some ability to pick up girls and cheat money, but if he wanted to be tough, even if he had 2 more guts, he wouldn't be that kind of person. Brandon was sentenced to 7 years for kidnapping and extortion. To some extent, I also did a good thing, rescuing Hannah and Sophia from this scoundrel's hands. Half a year later, Hannah's family lived in poverty. The whole family was squeezed into a cheap rental house. Her parents, who had already resigned, one went to work as a sanitation worker, having to get up at 5 or 6 o'clock every day, and the other went to the factory gate to work as a security guard. The next time I saw Hannah was half a year later. I met Hannah, who was selling snacks on the street, on the way to the office for a meeting. She had no jewelry or designer clothes on her body. Her face was full of wrinkles, and there was no trace of her wealthy appearance. Seeing me stop the car and lower the window, Hannah looked at me and forced a smile. "How's Sophia doing?" I asked casually. Hannah nodded. "She's at school. Same old, same old." A moment of silence passed. Hannah burst into tears. "Sean, I regret it," she sobbed. "Now I understand how incredibly kind you were to us. I didn't know how good I had it. It turns out making money is so hard. She crouched on the ground, weeping uncontrollably. I gave a faint smile. I had let go of everything. Hannah, what's missed is missed. There aren't that many chances for regrets in this world. The following year, Hannah got married. After all, she wasn't bad looking. She found a man, also divorced, and quite a few years older than her. I sold my office, too, and with the money, I decided to see the world. A person has to live for themselves sometimes. Eventually, in the Colorado mountains, I met a girl. Her eyes were pure, and she had two dimples when she smiled. We traveled together. After a year of silence in my heart, I felt a spark with this girl. I lied and told her I was just a small employee at an office, making $3,000 or $4,000 a month. The girl winked at me and said with a smile, "Quit your job when we get back. I'll take care of you." Just like I had said to Hannah once. It turns out you have to find someone worthy of your efforts. But the truth was too cruel. But Hannah was surprised to find that she had anger burning in her heart when she faced her mother's crying. She didn't want to forgive her mother, but she had no choice but to take care of her. So she agreed to the divorce. Could she keep it a secret from Xander forever, even if she put herself in his shoes? Hannah regretted it. She had made a terrible mistake, letting go of the person who loved her most, even without blood ties. Passing colleague and asked, "Do you want this tie for $50? The colleague smiled and said, "This brand is not cheap. Are you selling it to me?" I nodded. Then the colleague and I exchanged money for the tie. Howard Thompson's face turned pale as he watched the scene. How could you? I chuckled and said, "Howard Thompson, isn't this how you treated me for the past 7 years? Do you think we can still get to the future?" Howard Thompson looked at me deeply, as if nailed to the spot. The next day, I heard from the restaurant where he worked that he had returned to the country. Not long after, news broke in the country that he was divorced. However, he never had any scandals again and became a diamond bachelor that everyone in the industry wanted to curry favor with. And my life and his gradually became parallel lines that would never intersect. The end. A new processing plant. During this period, David Miller was always with me, encouraging me. David Miller and I got married. He has a 15-year-old daughter who is very cute and likes me very much. Amid the hustle and bustle, my life became complete, with a husband, a child, and a career. Following the tide of reform and opening up, our family of 3 strode forward, leaving behind a trail of laughter and joy.